So let's talk about anchoring speakers to the floor with spikes or these little cushions that we have. I mean, there's a huge debate in audio about that, and so maybe we can get into that a little bit.
Well, sometimes the easiest thing to change in an audio system isn't necessarily the most dramatic in its results.
Mm-hmm.
But I think speakers are very much a mechanical device, and the sound of a system has a lot to do with resonances, cabinet resonance, how the room couples to the loudspeaker room interface, they call it. So how the mechanically couples and all of that, and acoustically couples in the room. So you see sort of two strategies in speakers. That typically at mid and high frequencies, you want isolation and you want damping. So this is why, back in the 70s or so, you started seeing separate head modules for speakers with damping material on the inside of them. Like Kef used to use this bituminous, tar on the inside of their speakers, and other manufacturers have used all kinds of things. But at low frequency, you want to push resonances out of the band of the woofer. So you have these very stiff enclosures, these heavily braced enclosures, like what B&W would call their matrix bracing, where it's a whole bunch of shelf braces together, and then also rigidly coupling that to a high mass like a floor. And that spike, there's sort of arguments either way about decoupling or coupling. And people talk about things like the wave launch off of a speaker, that it should be rigidly coupled, or it should be decoupled so it's floating. And so there's a lot of different approaches there, because about 90% of the vibration in a speaker is actually the mechanical system, the cone, coil, all of that pushing and pulling against the box, and that energy needs to go somewhere. So having a path to grounding that essentially is important. There's also manufacturers that have done things in the speaker itself to cancel some of that with these opposed woofers and things.
But to be specific, in your system, would you use spikes, or would you?
Well, you're sort of maximally engaging the room when you use spikes too. So I'm in an apartment, so my neighbor might appreciate more decoupled bass than really coupling it into the floor maximally.
Yeah. But sonically, which way would you go if you didn't have neighbors?
Yeah, I mean, sonically, the problem, there's this sort of tactile feeling to bass when you couple it to the floor.
Yep.
And that...
Which is what headphones never do.
Right, and so when you have spikes, and let's say you're not on a concrete floor, you're on joists and everything like that, there's this sensation of the vibration traveling faster than the sound, so you kind of get this physical effect through the floor, this tactile effect, when you couple it versus decoupling it. And I tend to like that. I think some of this is, there's a little bit of user preference involved, and there's also a lot of marketing, because there are some really great systems out there that I've seen, that like we like the isoacoustics stuff a lot. Yeah, and they're doing, they put a lot of real science into measuring speakers with these feet, and they're actually doing decoupling with these sorbethane layers and other stuff. So it's something where
sounds like a lot of you're going to have to try it out for personal choice.
Yeah, it's the nice thing is it's an easy thing to try.
It is. It is.
And so I would audition it in your place and see what you think.
Works best for you. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.